Known as one of the houses, the world's most famous haunting. This place used to have the horrific massacre. Shocked everyone. On November 14th, 1974, Ronan Defoe, just 23 years old, ordered the search for the parents and 4 children when they are fast asleep. However, at the trial, Defoe reaffirmed that in the night of the murder, a voice full of ghostly constant ordered him to kill. But this scary argument are not accepted. Last, Defoe was sentenced to prison, forever in prison darkness. So, Defoe's actions were outburst, or as he said, manipulated by an invisible force, unable to resist. Hello brothers, today, we will take you to examine Breaking the Horror Masterpiece by James Wan. The Conjuring 2. A year after the massacre, the horror of Defoe, another family had the courage to clean up into this scary house. As a foreshadowing nightmare, they quickly have to deal with these terrifying spiritual phenomenon. To clarify this fact, they look to the floating expert couple, the most famous about the supernatural world, Ed and Lorraine. After learning about the Defoe massacre, the couple decided to make a special soul calling ceremony. They want to find out the real motive behind after Defoe's murderous actions. Lorraine, who possesses yin and yang eyes, entered the ritual, and immediately, being caught up in another world. That world is in darkness, full of smoke. There, she can see clearly evil spirits. Lorraine walked up to the second floor. Live experience of Defoe's scene to kill. When she was scared and confused, the boy suddenly appeared in the distance. It seems that he wants to show Lorraine something. She followed the boy to the floor, tunneling and detecting spirits. The spirit of the Defoe family is staring at a mirror. Lorraine carefully pulls the dust-covered cloth out and detected in the mirror the image of a nun with a fierce face, but it didn't harm Lorraine, which instead gave her saw the scene of Ed piling up the carpet. Lorraine shouted in disbelief, back to the real world. This is a close encounter with Marcel. Many years ago, it used the substance of Ed to warn Lorraine. Ed and Lorraine's investigation, Warren on the Amityville house, has attracted attention widely from the public. However, in Enfield, England, an incident similar to the Amityville house happened. The protagonist, Peggy, is a poor single mother, raising 4 small children alone. That day, just as the children came home from school, then Peggy received a call. The principal reported that the second daughter, Jeanette, who smoked in school. Jeanette clarified that she was only holding it, friends, not smoking. But Peggy is under pressure, burdened by the women are no longer in the mood to listen to the explanation. That night, it was just a chance discovery. Jeanette is playing the chessboard. Jeanette told her, "Just put your hand on the board and it will answered all her questions." The mechanical bridge table does not have any response. Jeanette is disappointed to throw the bridge under the bed. Late at night, Jeanette woke up in the middle of a dream, but she found herself no longer on top the bed that was in the middle of the living room. Thinking she was sleepwalking, Jeanette straight back to the bedroom. The next night, she woke up again in a strange state, and this time, she used the voice of an old man to talk to yourself. The old man declares that this is the home of him. If they don't leave, he will peel the throat of the younger brother. Her youngest boy, hearing the scream, he just hurriedly turned on the light. But Jeanette did it like nothing occurred and went back to bed. In another corner, the youngest son woke up to drink water. While returning to the room, he discovered his toy car. I was right in the way of the stairs. He didn't care either. Just kicked the car into the toy tent. But when he returned to bed, the car was pushed out again. This strange phenomenon made him. She couldn't help but be curious. He approached the tent, and once pushed the car inside. But this time, not only the car was pushed out, but also accompanied by a roar of an old man. The boy panicked and called his mother. But when Peggy opened the tent, the inside is completely empty. At this moment, a strange sound sounded out of the living room. Peggy curiously stepped down to check, looked it up, and found that Jeanette was sitting on the old sofa of the family. The little girl sleepwalked again. Jeanette's boredom is hot as fire. Peggy had to help her daughter to her room and tell her she doesn't need to go to school tomorrow. The next day, it rained heavily. Jeanette, at home alone on TV, to pass the time. But suddenly, the TV automatically switches channels again. Jeanette thought the rain had made her believe Signal should use the remote to adjust the old channel. But just a few seconds later, the channel was moved again. When Jeanette reached for the remote, she realized it was on the sofa. The sofa is strangely old. Jeanette never left her chair. How did the remote get there? She adjusted the channel again and then set remote in line of sight and continue watching. No. Jeanette has no heart. Watching TV too. Who are only worried about the danger of having can appear at any time? A thunderous explosion resounded. The TV was suffocated. Jeanette habitually hits the TV, but the image still does not recover. On the contrary, through the reflection on the screen, she also saw an old man sitting on the old sofa. The remote control is also fell to the floor. Before he could concentrate, the old man was standing right behind him. Jeanette scared her to the point, stepped down to the floor. The scene moves to Ed's house, where he had just experienced a nightmare. In a dream, a demonic spirit, keep in shape, the nun kept appearing in front of him, so Ed decided to redraw that image. When Lauren saw the painting, she was extremely frightened. That is the evil spirit that she had seen at Amityview's house. Now, it appears in Ed's dream, as a warning to them. In another corner, Jeanette tried to stop herself from sleepwalking. How to tie your hands to bed. This method seems to work. When she wakes up easily in the middle of the night, she was still lying near the bed. But at that moment, a knock on the door sounded on the side. In addition to making Jeanette curious, wires and step out, she used a flashlight to shine it on. The old sofa and saw that it was shaking itself strangely. Too scared, Jeanette runs straight to the room to get at Chew. The chair slammed the door shut. But all in vain. The door is not only opened, but also the sound of footsteps, heavy as approaching. When Jeanette is stressed to the extreme, her legs were suddenly pulled away. Jeanette screamed in panic, "Wake up my sister!" She was going to scold Jeanette for a while, but suddenly both beds began to be violently transferred. Too scared, the two sisters rushed to their mother's room. At this time, Jeanette was bitten in the shoulder, leaving a clear wound. No need for explanation. Peggy understands that they are not lying. Peggy returns to the sisters' room to check every nook and cranny. But when you can't find it, what is the cabinet? The clothes suddenly moved on their own. This is certainly not all possible. Explain with conventional logic. So Peggy decided to bring her 4 children to a neighbor's house to take shelter. Customers' first reaction: the village is a police report that someone is playing a prank on them. But, strangely, the chair automatically returns to the position, old mind right in front of his eyes. This phenomenon has exceeded the possibility of ICE, the police's ability to solve problems. The only thing they can do is to write an incident report and ask for a priest from the church came to help. In another place, Lauren reads and makes things, crafts with his daughter. But when she raised her head, daughter has disappeared. Lauren got up and searched and found. The little girl stood in the middle of the hallway, staring ahead. Lauren looked into the eyes of our daughters and discoveries, out of Monsieur's figure at the end of the corridor. Lauren followed and walked into the office, but there was no figure of the nun. However, the bizarre scenery in the room is clearly visible, that it would be dangerous to stay here. As Lauren was about to leave, Monsieur slammed all doors, windows and doors. Lauren mustered up the courage to ask the name of the evil spirit. Monsieur pointed to the corner of the room again, where Ad is standing. Ad turned to Lauren, saying an apology. Shortly afterwards, Anne was hit by a tree trunk, stabbing through backwards and falling down. Lauren screams in panic and turns on Roots from Nightmares. As it turns out, it's all just a terrifying dream. The scene shifts to a TV reporter approached Peggy. He knew about this incident through a police report. The reporter suggested that if the house, strange phenomena still occur, then putting the story on television can help them find support. Peggy was convinced, so they cooperated to record a news report. Peggy's family story quickly attracted widespread attention from the community. Among them, there was a man named Morris went all the way to Peggy's house. He is an investigator, supernatural phenomena, has witnessed many events, mysterious before. For more details, Morris and the reporter interviewed Janet. The reporter is an atheist. He called out to the soul, asking for something to do with the demon entity. And at that moment, Janet's face suddenly became too weird. Her voice also turned into a voice of a rough man. Janet's consciousness was now a ghost named Bill occupies. Morris also recognized the change, scary change, and asking, "Who are you? Why are you here?" The man replied, "I'm Bill. Died many years ago." Oh. This is my home. NV. People are trespassers. I'm here just to hear the sound. Just your screams. After speaking, the ghost left from Janet's body. That night, the whole family moved in neighbors' houses to stay temporarily. They think that as long as they don't go home, will not be harassed by the devil anymore. But they don't know that the nightmare was still waiting for them ahead, back at Peggy's house. Son's music box would suddenly burst out. On the lid of the box is a picture of a hunchback man. But, just in a moment, the hunchback man, from the lid of the box, in another corner, the whole family fell asleep. But the youngest son suddenly heard, seeing the Chinese voice sounding. Because he was big, he walked down to the living room. There, he saw that his dog was staring out the window. When he opened the door, in the corner of his eye, the dog seems to be possessed, suddenly turned into a fiddle. Mr. Gu is huge, the boy screamed, waking up the whole family. Everyone also sees the shadow, that tall figure. But when that figure approached, they realized it was Jeanette with what his face was full of fear. Jeanette screamed violently, then fell to the ground. Transmission scene. The church announces about what happens out at Peggy's house for Ed and his wife. They're not sure if this is the current, a true supernatural statue, or just a scam. Therefore, the church proposed 2 people to investigate the damage. Lauren was very hesitant about this task. Ackling has sent a message many times, warning to her she didn't dare to fight desperately her husband's life. But Ed promises that they just come to observe. If there is any danger, they will hand over the case to the Monsieur and withdraw immediately. Lauren couldn't refuse, so she agreed. The next day, Ed and his wife arrived at Peggy's house. Peggy used a sharp chain, locked Janet's room tightly, because most of the supernatural phenomena all originated from this room. Ed walked into the room and noticed on all the walls are covered with crosses. These are the items that the neighbors gave them. But through Peggy's eyes, it can be seen that the crosses to no avail. That night, Ed decided to show an experiment. He asked Janet to hold the water in his mouth. This will help determine if the sound must be emitted by Janet or not. After preparation, Ed turned on the recorder. But before his question, the entity did not react at all. Janet told everyone that they have to turn their backs completely. The ghost only spoke up. This requirement is not excessive, so Ed agreed. Sure enough, his voice, the old man, quickly rang out. Ed asked, why did he contact the custom of harassing this family? Bill replied, this is my house. I only came back to visit my family, but they are no longer here. Ed didn't want to argue further. He affirmed, officials are not allowed. Return to the earth. Saying that, Ed took the cross from his pocket. Aura tried to exorcise the ghost. In the meantime, Bill was muttering a few intermittently, and finally left Janet's body. Throughout the dialogue, Janet was still holding water in her mouth. This proves that the sound must be emitted by the little girl. That night, Janet slept in the middle of the bed with her mother. But when she woke up, she found herself located at the foot of the living room. Not far from her, Bill was sitting still on the old sofa. He didn't look at Janet, but got up and walked straight to the second floor. Just in the eyes of the eye, Janet has been teleported to upstairs room. More terrifying than all the holy trees, the shelves on the wall are all reversed. When Janet was still immersed in fears, Bill suddenly lunged at her. The terrifying screams of Janet wakes up Peggy. She hurriedly ran to the room where Janet was locked up. But the door of the room was locked tightly despite trying. No matter how hard you pull, you can't open it. At that moment, Peggy was horrified to discover the face of Al. A terrifying old man appears out in the opening. Fortunately, expired ads appear to use. The lock opens the door. The next morning, AD and his wife, Maurice, and the special envoy of the church, the association, had a meeting. Maurice learned about the calendar of the house. Many years ago, an old man used to live here and had need of brain power on the old sofa. What Janet said was all truth. Nevertheless, the special envoy disagreed. She thinks it's public information. Janet may have heard the sentence. Stories from neighbors. Lauren asked again. So how can Janet translate herself, moving into a locked room? The special envoy replied, this lacks the basis for trust, because being teleported is just one-sided narration from Janet. As for the old man's voice, cannot be restrained. She couldn't just rely on the evidence, unreliable to conclude the case. That interrupts the discussion. Give us more time. We'll find out by more obvious symptoms to prove the presence of Adeline. That night, everyone stay at Peggy's house. Because the house has been seriously used, many water pipes were severely damaged. Severely affected areas. The most important is the laundry room. The water here was knee-deep. Add carry tools and towel. Going down the hope of the corpse. Locate the incident. But at that moment, a ghost suddenly appeared behind him. Peggy is now holding a flashlight to illuminate him. When he saw a strange black shadow appear, Peggy immediately called aid over. But what she didn't expect was, the target of the entity is not. Ed is Peggy? He bit a deep patch on his arm. Of her. Then disappeared. Ed realized that something had fallen into the water. He reached down to search, and picked up a denture. More frightening is the shape of the teeth, with a bite mark on Peggy's hand. In another corner, 4 children decorating. Birth certificate. Tight. Jeanette sees whole vegetables in. The stove is plugged upside down on the table. The whole family deserves to be touched. No one dares to move. Only the 3rd son calmly walked into the kitchen. This is our home. No one has the right to infringe. But as soon as he walked in, Jeanette is suddenly teleported from living room into the kitchen, and began to smash all the furniture around. Listen to sounds. Everyone rushed into the kitchen, but the stove that was destroyed is no longer recognizable. Fortunately, the son hiding in the closet, the kitchen is still safe. Soon after, people find out Jeanette was restrained by Bill, in the storage room. Ed quickly withdraws price bars, out to expel him. This time, Bill just muttered a few words. Then Leon left Jeanette's body. When everyone was trying to calm the two of them, young special envoy of the church appeared with a disappointed face. She filmed the scenes in the kitchen with a camcorder, completely devoid of force, supernatural. The whole chaos is caused by Jeanette. In the face of clear evidence, Ed and his wife couldn't say anything. Although Peggy has repeatedly affirmed, I saw the ghost with my own eyes, but no one believed her anymore. That night, everyone left the house. Ed and Lauren look at Jeanette through window frames. Desperate here. They really want to withdraw, but the church is only interested in evidence. Does not bring affection. Jeanette's sister is confused about her actions. Why did you deliberately cause panic? Jeanette replied. It was all his plot. Fake it. If you don't comply, he will kill everyone. Meanwhile, Ed and his wife boarded. The train left. While arranging the pilgrimage, 2 rolls by accidental recording fall down and stack in 2, in the shape of a cross. Ed seems to come up with ideas. He asked Lauren to open the tape recorder. Bill once said 2 words to leave the enemy. At that time, Ed thinks it's just a warning of his. But now, he realized maybe it has a different meaning. And indeed, when playing 2 recordings simultaneously, the 2 sentences left the enemy and put them together into a complete sentence. Save me. It doesn't let me go. At that moment, Lauren is dragged into a dark world. Here, Bill reveals the whole truth. I just want to go back to visit my family, but when they know they are no more, I was going to leave. But the evil diaper force stopped me. The target of the evil spirit was that little girl. It is definitely about to succeed. Lauren asked, what should I do? Stop this. Bill just said a hidden sentence. I have just given you. Also just took it. As soon as a person is born. I was present. He never said he wanted me. But I will follow him. Until death. Lauren was going to ask more about the meaning of the sentence. In other words, the figure of Masu suddenly appeared right in front of her. Lauren woke up and understood everything. Bill's ghost is just an excuse. The demon sister was the one behind it all. Back at Peggy's house, there is no longer the protection of S and his wife. So, evil destruction becomes even more aggressive. It takes over Janet's body, then start attacking, crazy with the whole family. To protect your children, Peggy took them to the restaurant. The village and she stayed, trying to save Janet. But evil destruction didn't give her a chance. It blocks all windows and doors. No one is allowed inside. At the same time, S and his wife are also wiping. Hurry up to Peggy's house. Lauren still couldn't understand the last words. Bills and bills mean. Thought for a while, then said, that exists from the moment a person is born is. Name. If you know the name of the evil destroyer, we can beat it. They quickly reached Peggy's house, but all the doors are blocked. S was forced to enter through the back door. But as soon as you enter, the door has been slammed shut. Both husband and wife realize this. It was the plan of the evil. Lauren had seen the quality of S in a dream. But S has no choice. He couldn't stand and watched being killed. Although Lauren screamed to stop her. Still, straight into the house. Outside, neighbors are working hard to break down the door. Lauren didn't sit still trying either. Recall the name of the evil destroyer. Suddenly, as Mr. Sang crept up in his head, Lauren remembered something. From the very beginning when she asked the evil name, he had already told her. She even wrote its name. On the Bible you are reading. Lauren hurriedly turned over the Bible and discovered the name of the evil destroyer Valak. At this moment, a lightning bolt struck them in front of the door. The tree god broke off to form a shape, identical enemies in dreams. Wes was stabbed through the chest and died. At this time, the neighbors broke the fire. A small slot in the door. Lauren is not in danger. Straight into the house. Quickly finds Janet. But Janet is about to smash the window and jump down from wall 2 when 1,000 pounds hang by the hair. S rushed over and grabbed her. But he couldn't keep it for a long time in this state. Just as Lauren was about to rush over, save 2 people, Monsieur came out. Is currently in the room using supercapacity. Of course, Lauren's game is on the wall. But Lauren was not afraid. Vigorously call out the name and shake it. The name of the evil destroyer is also the same. Its intestines go back to hell. In the last minute, Lauren saved S and Janet. 2 families were also allowed to return to a peaceful life. The story ends here. Although The Conjuring 2 is a horror movie, but the ending of the movie is full, warm, and humane. As Morris once said, sometimes you must dare to put the pole on your faith. Believe in yourself, even if others are suspicious of you. Be consistent with yourself. You will have a different life. Okay. Today's movie. This is the end. Please support by clicking like and follow. See you.
Enjoyed the video? Hit subscribe, drop a like, share with your crew, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk movies.